Men of the Nigeria police force have arrested a young man allegedly accused of inciting violence on TikTok ahead of the planned August 1, 2024 mass protest envisaged by Nigerians to press home their demand over high cost of living in the country. Nigeria Police Force, in a news release signed and made available on Sunday by Plateau State Police Command spokesperson Alfred Alabo, said the suspect in a viral TikTok video called for people to attack security operatives and burn down government properties including police stations. The statement reads in quote, following the release of a TikTok video that occupied the social media space, stimulating violence in connection with the planned nationwide protest, the Plateau State Police Command has trailed and arrested the author of the inciting video. On the 27th of July 2024, the attention of the command was drawn to the video putatively emanating from a TikTok account, identified as Dam Malam 68. The suspect in the video was seen assertively inciting the public to attack security operatives and burn down critical state and private infrastructures in Plateau State as part of the activities for the protest. Based on the strength of the information, the Plateau State Commissioner of Police, CP Emmanuel Oluwemiga Adesina, sets tactical assets of the command on motion to trace and apprehend the source of the mischievous video. Consequently, on the 28th of July 2024 around 11:30 a.m., one Suleiman Yakubu, male, aged 34 years, of Jos North, Plateau State, who appeared in the viral video, was picked at Amadu Bello Way, just through an impeccable informant. While in our custody, the suspect confessed to being the one in the scatterful video. Meanwhile, investigation is still ongoing. In view of the above, the Commissioner of Police wishes to state that the police will intensely resist any attempt by mischief makers to plunge the state into chaos. He stressed the need for peace to remain untempered in the state amidst the before, during and after the protest. The Plateau State Commissioner of Police also urges the good people of Plateau State to be law-abiding and refrain from making inciting comments that will threaten peace and security in the state. The CP encourages residents of the state to report any suspicious activities to the following GSM numbers, Police Control Room emergency numbers: 07059473022, 08038907662, 08075391844 and 09053872296. Members of the general public are also advised to report any misconduct of our officers within the state through the following numbers: Plateau State Complaint Response Unit numbers 08060545670, PPRO 08037681026, 08067884627, 08069638786 and 08066709795. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Police Force has refuted claims that the IGP is trying to rewrite Nigeria Constitution over the planned nationwide protest. The force, in a statement signed by its spokesperson, Olumiwa Adejobi, on Sunday, said, the Nigeria Police Force hereby addresses the recent accusations made by one activist, Deji Adeoju, and others via various fora, alleging that the IGP is attempting to rewrite the constitution by requesting the details of the organizers and leaders of the planned nationwide protests. It is vital to clarify that the IGP has never denied the constitutional right of every citizen to freedom of association and expression, but has rather, at every point, emphasized that the right is that to peaceful assembly and expression. Also, the Nigeria Police holds the responsibility to ensure that any activity, including protests, does not pose a threat to national security. In this wise, requesting the details of protest organizers and their leaders and the schedules of their protests, which include location, period, routes, etc., is the standard procedure to facilitate effective communication, ensure the safety of all participants, and prevent any unlawful activities. It is also vital for Deji Adeoju to note that in the interest of defense, public safety, public order, public morality or public health, or for the purpose of protecting the rights and freedom of other persons as enshrined in Section 45(1) of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, this request by the IGP is not out of place. It is essential to know who is planning the assembly, protests, in each state, as allowing faceless groups to operate unchecked could jeopardize the peace and stability of the country, and leave us with pains, sorrows and tears as experienced in the 2020 violent exiles protests. If organized labor and other recognized bodies were involved, it would have provided a more structured and safer environment for such public protests. While the police urges Mr. Adeoju and other organizers not to mislead Nigerians, we therefore call on them to join hands in working together to uphold the security and well-being of our nation.
The planned protest scheduled for August 1st, 2024 across the country. We have been monitoring developments surrounding protest threats. While some groups call for violent protests, emulating Kenya's recent events, others advocate for peaceful demonstrations. However, some individuals promote peaceful protest with violent undertones, raising concerns about their sincerity. We have our own history of violent protests in Nigeria, and I don't believe we have to look to other countries to note the dangers of unchecked demonstrations. We commend patriots who have withdrawn from the protest due to the apparent sinister motives and ignorance of those calling for violence. We note those who have spoken out against any form of protest at this critical juncture, fearing enemies of our country may be manipulating the process. We confirm their fears are genuine, as we have credible intelligence on foreign mercenaries' involvement in this planned protest. The Nigerian police urge all Nigerians to exercise caution and think twice before joining any protest group. While we alert citizens to the sinister motives of certain groups planning to wreak havoc, it has become clear that even a peaceful protest at this time may be ill-timed. We issue a stern warning to clandestine groups plotting to destabilize the country and hoodlums seeking to exploit protests for their criminal agendas. We will not tolerate the killing of innocent citizens, destruction of public infrastructure and private property, or looting of private businesses. We acknowledge the constitutional right of Nigerian citizens to peaceful assembly and protest. However, in the interest of public safety and order, we urge all groups planning to protest to provide necessary details to the Commissioner of Police in the state where protest is intended to take place. To facilitate a successful and incident-free protest, they should please provide the following information. 1. Proposed protest routes and assembly points. 2. Expected duration of the protest. 3. Names and contact details of protest leaders and organizers. 4. Measures to prevent hijacking by criminal elements, including key identifiers for possible isolation of potential troublemakers. By providing this information, the police will be enabled to deploy adequate personnel and resources to ensure public safety, designate specific routes and areas for the protest to avoid conflicts with other events or activities, establish clear communication channels with protest leaders to address any concerns or issues that may arise, minimize the risk of violence, property damage, or other criminal activity. We encourage all protesters to cooperate with the police, obey the law, and adhere to global best practices for peaceful assembly to guarantee a safe and successful exercise of their rights. We are committed to working with all Nigerians to promote peaceful expression and maintain public order. Thank you for your understanding and cooperation. May the God of all creations help us to build our nation.
OsazuwaAkonedo, bringing you the news in a more digital way.